I'm here in the medieval city of Moristel on holiday in France, and I was struck by these plants, and I think they brilliantly display the attributes that leaves have in order to maximise photosynthesis. So the thing you'll notice about this area is that this one plant covers the whole of it, and what plants are trying to do is they're trying to get the maximum amount of sunlight to be absorbed, and so they want a very large surface area. So you can see here, look at the very broad leaf, very large surface area to absorb as much sunlight as possible, just like a solar panel. The leaf is very thin, so you can see in cross section it's less than a millimetre, and that's because on the underside of the leaf here, although we can't see them, are the stomata, and stomata are where the gases diffuse in photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide will diffuse in and oxygen will diffuse out. We don't really care about oxygen because that's just a waste product of photosynthesis, although it helps us breathe, but plants don't care about that. And the carbon dioxide diffuses in through the stomata, and because it needs to get to the palisade cells, which are on the surface just underneath this waxy cuticle, the shorter the diffusion distance, the shorter time it's going to take. And any process which relies upon diffusion, which is the random process, needs it to take as short a time as possible. It's the same in our lungs with our alveoli. The alveoli are one cell thick, so oxygen is able to diffuse from the blood, from our lungs into the blood almost instantaneously, because the diffusion distance is microscopic and therefore happens very quickly. What else has the leaf got? Well, you can see here on this a really nice vein system where these consist of xylem and phloem, which are going to carry water from the roots to the leaf for photosynthesis, and sugars away from the leaf after it's been made to the rest of the plant. The sugars being used for respiration, which is going to take place in every single cell in the plant. So it needs to be transported via the phloem to roots and stem and every cell which respires. I mentioned earlier waxy cuticle. Now here in France it's really hot. Today it's almost 100 degrees. And we know from the photosynthesis equation that plants need water. So if it doesn't have a way of trying to conserve water, it's just going to lose all its water and not be able to photosynthesize. So the waxy cuticle is both transparent to let sunlight through, and at the same time waterproof to stop the water escaping. And so that is the attributes of a leaf. The last one is the most obvious perhaps, and it's the last thing that's needed for photosynthesis. Let's look at the colour. It's green, and that is because of the chlorophyll, which is concentrated in the palisade cells at the top of the leaf here underneath the epidermis and the waxy cuticle, and the chlorophyll is responsible for enzymatically converting the carbon dioxide and the water into sugars. And so there we have a French leaf doing everything a leaf is meant to do with beautifully clear attributes to make it do its job better.